Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we are going to experiment with some Dunhill blue flints and at least one of these old aluminum block petrol lighters. This particular lighter has a wick that probably needs to be replaced, though the lighter is fueled up, and if you saw the video for this lighter before, then you know that it was not lighting at all. That is the fill screw there, which you can see how tiny. So if we do re-wick this one, it's going to be quite a job. But the file wheel does not seem to be throwing much of a spark. I think some turns it's not throwing a spark at all. Others it's just a minuscule one. So we will go ahead and back this Flint spring screw out of here. Get a hold of that with our fingers before it has a chance to fly out with the spring. And I don't think it's much of a danger with this one. Actually, this is the lighter that has the very long Flint spring screw in it. So we will get that long inset screw removed. There you see our Flint spring and the generic red eBay Flint. Which is grooved, maybe wearing a little unevenly. That's okay, because we are going to replace that with one of these Dunhill blues. Go ahead and cut this little cellophane or plastic capsule. There we have it, still in its plastic. And peel that out of there. Drop down here on the table. These are a little bit more brighter blue than the Dunhill blues that I'm used to. Drop that down the tube. Flint spring and Flint spring screw. Sounds like we have some sirens approaching here in Oklahoma City today. Get that grooved, still spinning freely. Tighten on down some more. Still spinning freely. See if we are making contact yet. Appears as though we are. Get that grooved in the right direction. Tighten down a little further. And you can see a little bit better spark there. See what happens if we tighten this on down. That looks like that's as tight as it'll go, so we'll back it up just a little. can see spark, or at least on some of these strikes you can see spark where you couldn't before. I probably struck this lighter 100 times in the other video, and it didn't light, I don't believe, a single time. I think we jumped it a couple of times. It's an interesting old aluminum block lighter, sort of haphazardly engine turned, not any great pattern to it. It's that way on every side, except for what I would call the front side of the lighter. I got questions in the other video for this lighter about the file wheel being worn out, and that's possible. This lighter doesn't show a great deal of use, which makes me think that there's no way that that file wheel should have worn out that fast. But with the wick being so close to the roller, it's also possible that maybe the file wheel has lost its temper. It's not as hard as it should be, and maybe that's why it's not throwing a spark as you would expect it to. You can see some spark occurring there, right in the middle of that lump of wick. And you can also see that if we jump this, it'll light right up. But that also shows you how the wick is right there on that file wheel and could be damaging the hardness of the file wheel as it burns. So while we still have a very intriguing and interesting lighter, it appears as though the file wheel is a problem. Definitely with that Dunhill blue flint, you would expect a bigger shower of sparks. But not getting anywhere near what we would need to have a reliable ignition from this particular lighter. So we're going to remove this flint spring screw, flint spring, and you can see there where that Dunhill blue flint had been grooved. So for the time being, we're just going to put this one back together without a flint. It appears evident to me at this point that we are going to have to figure something out about that file wheel if we're going to make this one work. And it will not be so simple as just replacing the generic flint with a better one. Now, to demonstrate with another lighter, here we have this unmarked lighter that reminds me a lot of the ST DuPont style of lighter. This is an aluminum block Petrol lighter, and it is fueled up, and we've had decent success with it igniting. Maybe a shade of vapor lock going on there, maybe not. Back this flint spring screw. And flint spring out. Drop the red flint out a bit. And let's try the Dunhill blue in this lighter. I am not certain that these Dunhill blues are the same quality. Definitely does not appear to be the same product as the Dunhill blues that I've had before. Those seem to have a blue tint to the flint themselves, where these seem to have some kind of a coating on them. That's just my initial impression. I could be wrong about that. Get it grooved. Wasn't real tight, so we'll get it going in the right direction here. Tighten it on down. That is all the way down. And then that sparks decent enough. So, no immediate success with our engine turned little square aluminum block lighter there. With this stylish little aluminum block lighter that has a copper braided Zippo type wick in it. And while we appear to have a good shower of sparks, coming down on that wick, we do not have ignition. That is as tight as it will go. And I've had a lot of success with this lighter. I had one live stream where it was basically lighting every time I struck it. I do think it is very prone to vapor lock. But was actually working better with the generic red flint in it than it appears to be with this Dunhill blue. So there we finally get it to strike. I don't know whether these Dunhill blues are as good a quality as the ones I've had before. But we will keep up experimenting with them when we have a lighter that doesn't seem to want to strike or ignite reliably, or doesn't seem to have a sufficient enough shower of sparks to make that happen. But not a quick fix every time, and could be due to the lighter itself, could be due to the quality of the actual flints. Maybe all Dunhill flint are not created equal. Any way around it, that is still not lighting anywhere near as reliably as it needs to. So, a couple of projects that we keep moving down the road on, trying to troubleshoot, trying to get them to work reliably, trying to get them tuned up and exactly where we need them, so that when you pull it out of your pocket and strike that wheel, you can light up whatever it is that you intend to combust. Until next time.